MMA fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today I am with top middleweight prospect, Mr. Mansur Abdul Malik, ahead of his Dana White Contender Series main event opportunity, August 13th. It's slowly approaching. You're taking on Mr. Wesley Schultz. Mansur, we're only a few weeks out from the contest. I'm sure you've had some time to process the announcement and everything, but what's the mindset like for you right now, finishing up training camp?
Mindset is locked in. It's locked in, and honestly, it's casual as well. As focused as I am and as excited as I am, it's just another day. It's just another day in the office, another day on the mat, on that canvas inside of the cage. So it's just normal. It's nothing too crazy.
You've been open in the past saying when you got the announcement, when you heard that you were even fighting on the Contender Series, there wasn't too much excitement. I mean, it was just another day. How long have you envisioned this opportunity?
I've envisioned this opportunity since I was 6 years old, man. I feel like it shouldn't be like a major celebration. You should definitely be excited. You should definitely be grateful for the opportunities that come your way with this. But I don't feel like it should be a major celebration, especially before the fact, especially before you even get to compete. So it's literally just another day for me, man. It's been like this since I was a little kid. I do love it. I love the opportunity. I love the idea of getting in there and proving myself to the world. But it's just recreation to me, honestly.
You're only 26 years old, but I mean, you really embody what it's like to be a true mixed martial artist. If I'm not mistaken, you started doing jiu-jitsu and stuff at 6 years old. I mean, you've been into this for as long as you could probably remember at some point. From a young age, was being a professional fighter, has that always been the goal?
Not even being a professional fighter, Ninja Turtle, a Raphael specifically. But more than being a professional fighter, man, I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to continue to get better. It was always in my mind being a champion, not just a professional fighter, being a world champion. But it's always been on the vision board, always. And as much as I love it and as much as I say it's recreation, I do take it seriously, man. I cut no corners. And this is my life. I don't have a career. I don't have a job. This is my life.
How did you get into it? Was this something your parents maybe helped you get into? How did you get into actually wanting to do mixed martial arts? Did you show an interest in it at a young age?
So the very first thing I ever did was like baby gymnastics when I was like 3 years old, just tumbling around. So I've always kind of had an interest in like the acrobatics in it and just moving your body in creative ways. And that led me into martial arts when I started watching like different martial arts movies and kung fu movies and all that. So it was always there. But my father was a U.S. Marshal for 24 years, and it was really instilled in us to be able to defend ourselves and then to defend other people that we care about as well. So it was absolutely necessary. And then I just took it to more serious levels as I started aging as a young man.
Now, at what point when you started the training, when you started doing your mixed martial arts thing, did you ever envision, I actually want to compete. I want to fight.
I envisioned it when I was getting beat up as a little kid because I was a little bit heavier set when I was a little kid, so I couldn't really always do the kids classes. And when I would do the adult classes, I would get whooped on, man. I would get whooped on really, really, really bad. But it kind of moved me to take it a little bit more seriously and prove something to myself that I can get better and I can compete against these grown adults, even though I was maybe 11, 12 years old. And then it just formed into this passion and this thing that I have now.
If anyone watches you fight, they can quickly understand that the wrestling is one tool that you're proficient in. I mean, it's maybe your base, you're very good at it. You drive the fights with it. After high school, around college, you decide to wrestle at the University of Maryland. How did that opportunity present itself? Was that always something, you want to do at that time, was wrestle collegiately?
Yeah, it definitely was. Whenever I'm involved in something, I want to be at the upper echelons of it. I want to be in that top tier. I had an amazing opportunity to wrestle for the University of Maryland for 2 years. It was inside of the Big Ten, and it was beautiful, man. It was also in my home state, so it was right around the corner. I'd always been familiar with wrestling in Maryland, wrestling on the East Coast, so it was just right there, man. It was right there, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that and to spend that time that I did at University of Maryland with my coaches, Karen McCoy and Jimmy Sheptock, and all the guys that I wrestled with. So it was a beautiful, beautiful time.
In the current landscape of MMA, you see a lot of guys who are collegiate wrestlers, then they turn to MMA after wrestling. You're a little different because you already had that mixed martial arts background before you even went to the University of Maryland. When you were there wrestling collegiately, was becoming a pro fighter after graduation, was that always on your mind?
Man, that was on my mind every single night. It was almost it was almost a little bit frustrating because wrestling is it's beautiful, but it's also like a singular art in itself. There's no striking, there's no submissions. So I knew that I had the capability to do all these different things. And it was very, very singular. And I knew that's what I had to do at that time to get better at it. And I did, and I'm grateful for that. But now I'm finally able to just be free. And mixed martial arts is my home, man. This is my home. I can literally just articulate myself and speak without even using words. I can just express myself with my body and how I think and how I present myself. So this is my home, man.
You think wrestling, that's such a big school, such a big conference. You think that kind of maybe set the stage for this, maybe allowed you prepare, see what competition is, wrestle in front of a lot of people, and kind of get acclimated to what's about to come for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so many aspects of MMA that aren't even as difficult as college wrestling. That's a completely different beast within itself, man. They definitely have their respective areas where things are difficult, but many things don't compare, man. And the people that get it. The guys that wrestled in college and the people that have seen it on a day-to-day basis, what it's like, very, very few things compared to that college lifestyle, in addition to having to do schoolwork and having to go to exams and having to go to classes and being a student. So very, very few things compared to that. But it definitely set the stage. 110% it set the stage for this. As did the things that I did before wrestling. But college wrestling definitely had a significant impact on it.
Your amateur mixed martial arts career started in 2019 and it ended in 2019. You had one fight on the amateur circuit. Did you just feel like you were ready to turn
Absolutely. 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 I felt like I was ready. And then I had a conversation with the people that were my coaches at the time, and they felt I was ready as well. So I just moved forward with it, man. I didn't think about it too much. I took it seriously, took the opportunity seriously. Didn't even treat amateur like it was amateur. I treated amateur like it was pro. And now I'm treating pro like it's something even bigger than pro. So yeah, man, it was just in 2019. I got in, I got out, and now I'm here.
Mixed martial arts has evolved so much. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, you had amazing fighters, but when you would look at them back in the day, they all had their strengths. This guy's a great striker, this guy's a great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu guy. But to me, to be a world-class champion, a ranked fighter in this day and age, you have to be a well-rounded, complete mixed martial artist. And you are the absolute testament to that. At what point did you understand that from a young age that, if you want to do this for a living, you need to be proficient at all elements of mixed martial arts?
100%. 100%. That was exactly my mindset mentality, my father's mindset mentality. If we were going to take this seriously, if we were going to go as far as we possibly can go with this, I need to be proficient in every single area. I need to make sure every single box is checked. I can have my strengths. I can have the things that are beneficial to my body type, the way that I think and the way that I move. But you need to be familiar with every single thing that you possibly can. And then it's a never ending battle too. You need to have a student mentality within this. And I have that student mentality every single day. I'm an expert at nothing. I'm a master at nothing. I'm just a young man that just loves to do this, and I want to get better every single day, man. When you get to a stage where you're like, I have this figured out, I have all the boxes checked, everything is done. Now I just need to get in shape and train. That's where people start losing. And if you're not losing out there, you're definitely losing in your mind beforehand. But I have a student mentality, man. And I'm a beginner every single day. Every single night, my mind resets. And every single day inside of practice, I'm just able to absorb everything like a sponge.
A couple years ago, I asked Jorge Masvidal, what is the reason why we're seeing the game evolve so much? What is the reason why we see the much high level guys? And he basically said, it's culturally accepted now. Kids are starting at it at 6, 7 years old, like yourself. They're talking about it at the dinner table. By the time that they turn 18, 19 years old, they're already having amateur fights. they're going to get in the UFC at age 25 and age 26. I mean, when you look at that statement and you look at your career, I mean, it's pretty on par. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like, the fact that mixed martial arts like yourself are in this at such a young age, is this evolving the entire sport?
I 100% agree with that. And I was grateful to do it myself. But in addition to that, I don't think there's like a specific potion for this. I don't think there's a specific recipe. MMA is something really, really special. Like combat sports in general is something really, really special because you don't have to necessarily be that really, really, really young kid in order to be successful. So many people fall off, man. So many people fall off. So many people get tired of it. So many people let their mind take themselves other places because they're just so used to it. They're so used to the lifestyle. And then you have guys that are maybe early 20s, even late 20s, early 30s, and they started up and they have this amazing energy for it. It's something they've never experienced. They just want to do it every single day. They're not bored of it. They just love it. But then you also have guys that might not do so well at that age too. So I don't think it's a specific recipe. I think you just need to have a certain mind for it. I think you need to have a certain interest in it. And that's what really, really makes you successful. And you just got to work hard at it too, man. I think you need to use your mind in a way where other people aren't able to use their minds. I think if there's any recipe, that's their recipe. And a mind like that, and a mind where you're open and when you accept every single thing and where you research things and try things out and you're not afraid to fail in certain situations and scenarios in order to learn and move forward, I think that's what separates guys that train martial arts and fighters from so many different other people.
From the casual fan perspective, when they watch the PFL, the UFC, the big shows, they see these fighters, they see them in the spotlight. They must think, oh, this is the most glorious fame thing. But I have a feeling they don't realize there's a dark side to mixed martial arts. When you're a regional fighter, you are not making $1 million to fight. You could probably attest to that statement. A lot of guys have jobs on the side. They have families. You're getting punched in the face all day. You're training for hours and hours, almost every single day of the week. How do you get through the sacrifices? What makes you stay motivated to keep pushing?
You need to have that reward inside of yourself. That needs to be internal. You can't be searching for things outside of yourself. Of course, I'm in this to be a world champion. Of course, I'm in this to make all the money that I possibly can. Of course, I'm in this for the glory, man. There's nothing more pure than fighting another man. But that reward needs to be internal. You need to clap for yourself. You need to pat yourself on the back, and you need to keep it moving after that. Like, this is something, martial arts in general is something that's so pure. It's so pure. You can't really see the reward, but whenever you talk to someone that's proficient in martial arts and they've studied it and they've studied the philosophy and the psychology, you can tell that they're a little bit different from the majority of the population. They're a little bit more calm. They know how to defend themselves. They may be a lot kinder than most people. That doesn't go for everybody, though. But in most cases, at least from what I've experienced, people that train these martial arts and people that compete in MMA and people that dedicate themselves to this lifestyle for whatever amount of time, they're a little bit different from people. They're a little bit different from most. And I feel like it's because they internalize this reward. It has to pay off inside before it can pay off out there.
You're a very confident fighter. I mean, you have a lot of confidence in yourself, and rightfully so. Do you feel that mixed martial arts, combat sports in general, is it much more mental than it is physical?
Absolutely. It's all mental, man. It's all mental. And only a winner because I've taken so many losses in the past, so many losses when I was a little kid. All winners are not even essentially, all winners are losers that didn't stop trying. And man, I'm humble. I'm humble in the way that I think like that because I'm not greater than anyone. I'm just another man. I just dedicate myself to this specific area of my life. I love it. I try really hard at it, and God has blessed me to be successful in it. So that's what I think about that, man.
You've had a phenomenal start to your pro career so far. I mean, of your 5 fights, only all of them have finished in the first round. Only one of them have gone past the 2-minute mark in the first round. You fought on some cool shows. One of them that I want to talk about, obviously, you're from Maryland. You got to fight on Jonathan Ogden's card, Hall of Fame football player, Baltimore Ravens. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was nice. It was almost like a ballroom type of setting. It almost reminded me of like something inside of a movie. But it was nice. It was a different experience. It was a lot of people in there that had not seen MMA because it was like the up and coming like little organization or whatever. But yeah, man, that was interesting. That was it was really nice experience, and I was grateful to be a part of it.
Do you see any ball players there? Did he have a bunch of his Ravens friends there?
I saw a bunch, but I might get a little bit of hate for this. I do not watch football. I couldn't even tell you how many people are on the field at once. But I definitely saw some people there. They definitely let themselves be known that they were football players before. So that was nice to see, and I'm glad they showed up.
Your last time out in action, you got to fight on one of the biggest regional shows in the world. You got to make your LFA debut. It didn't last long. It only went for about 1 minute and 40 seconds. You did a great job. You were able to take down your opponent. And it looked like you passed the guard. You got up. And I mean, you finished him in vicious style with an absolute vicious strike that put him out cold. Walk me through that finish from the point where you passed the guard when you were standing up. At that point, walk me through it. Did you have a feeling that you had the opening to land that shot?
100% had the feeling. I knew it was right there. I knew I had to go a certain way in order to make him think I was going a certain way, and then I had to follow up with what I followed up with, man. But I saw it. I saw the minute that I was inside control. I felt it. I felt his body moving, and I felt the positions that he was going to go into, and I felt like almost like the rhythm of his body. I knew that it was going to defend that way, so I just capitalized on it.
That finish almost went viral. I mean, a lot of people saw it. A lot of people were talking about it. Did you feel a lot of hype after that? You feel like your name was starting to be talked about a lot more after that fight?
Absolutely. But honestly, I can't even hear it. I can't hear the good or the bad. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the good and the bad. And I see it and I recognize it. But that stuff doesn't even actually it does enter my ears. It goes through one ear, it goes out the other. So
Following that contest was a Contender series. Did you have a feeling it was going to happen for you?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I knew it was gonna happen after that one because that's a feeder organization straight to the UFC. And I knew that I was gonna put on a show, man. I knew that I was gonna put on a show. I knew that given the opportunity, I was gonna do the best that I possibly could. And the best that I possibly can. It was pretty amazing that night, and I'm grateful for that. But I let him know. I let Nick Maynard know. Gave him the little phone sign, man. I just kept it moving after that.
I know it was just another day for you, but where were you? Where were you when you got the phone call that you're going to be on the Contender series?
I was in Maryland. I think I was at home. I just got done lifting with my brothers, and my manager just called me, and then he sent a picture of the opponent, and I was just like, all right, man, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. I love it. I love the way this lifestyle has just formed. And when you know something's gonna happen, when you have faith in it, and then it just shows up and happens, and you're not surprised. I love that. I'm so excited with inside of myself. People just can't see it. Maybe I just control my emotions a little bit too well sometimes. But man, I absolutely love this life. I love what I do, and I knew that was gonna happen for me. I knew it was gonna happen. I know if I worked hard and just kept on moving, kept on pushing, and did my best to put myself out there like that, it was going to happen for me. So it wasn't a surprise. I was with my brothers. It was a surprise to them. They were all excited. So yeah, man, it was a good time.
Were you expecting to be the main event? Did that catch you off guard?
It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm now that I see it. Now that I see my name up there, I did expect it. But also, that stuff never even goes through my mind. I will fight. I will fight like I'm in the main event, even if I'm the first fight on the card. That stuff does not matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. But now that I see my name up there, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Makes no difference, but it makes sense.
When you look at your fight history, you've had 6 total MMA contests that are on record. You got to the Contender series quickly. I mean, when you look at your performances, I mean, rightly so I can't talk right now. Rightly so. I mean, you're absolutely dominating all of your guys. I mean, the fact that all of them are first round finishes, only one after 2 minutes. I mean, you're taking out these people in dominating fashion. You have a style that it's flashy, it's exciting, it's fun. You deliver every time you're out there. Do you think that is one of the reasons why, maybe you got through this process a little quicker than others?
There it is. Yes, sir, it is. When given the opportunity, I capitalize. Period, point blank. I'm grateful to do it. I'm grateful to be in there. I just take it Take it seriously, man. You don't. This lifestyle and this career does not last long. It doesn't last. If you're lucky, it lasts a few years. But you got to capitalize, man. If not now, then when? I just recognize the opportunities that I have, and I understand the time that I have as well. And I'm just not wasting any. I'm not wasting any time. I'm getting straight to it. But also, I'm patient. I just know and recognize and see that this doesn't last forever.
Did you ever have time on the regional scene of getting opponents? No one want to fight you?
All the time, man. I remember it was horrible. I got off the flight, got my check, ready to go to the hotel for weigh-ins, and then I get a call that my pulled out. But that's just, it almost reinstills that you need to focus on yourself. The opponent can change, things can change, venues can change, weights can change, and you need to make sure that you're prepared for all that. But also, you need to be focused on yourself. You're really fighting yourself out there. You're not fighting anyone else. You're fighting your mentality. You're fighting your body. You're fighting the way that you're thinking. You're fighting past wins and past experiences. You're fighting all that. You're fighting all that. But on that night, when you step in there, both people are 0-0, and you just gotta go at it, man. You just gotta go at it, and you just gotta take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, you're taking on Wes Schultz here just in a few weeks. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent? Another guy, top ranked, loud hype around him.
He's an opponent. He's an opponent. I understand who he is. I understand the threats that he poses. I take my studying seriously, but he's an opponent. That's it. That's all I think about him, is no more, no less.
Obviously, you alluded to it a little earlier, but just because you fight in the Contender Series, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to the UFC yet. You know, you have to impress the boss man. You have to impress Dana White. You know, you've made a living so far of getting finishes, putting on top performances, going into this contest. Do you have to almost envision the finish? Is that something like, you know, you kind of need to do it? Or are you trying not to think about that and just fight the fight and just take it how it happens?
Take the fight how it happens. That's it. But I also visualize everything. I visualize the way I'm going to walk to the locker room. I visualize the weigh-ins. I visualize the way I'm going to speak. I visualize the things that I'm going to think of. I visualize that future so much so that I embody it. I embody it now. I don't do it later. I don't become that person later, but I embody who I want to be now in this very moment. And then when I get in there, man, things happen the way they happen, and I'm grateful for every single way that they happen. But I'm prepared. I'm prepared for a full fight. For a full fight, I'm expecting him to come in at his best, and I'm prepared for it all. I'm absolutely prepared for it all, and I cannot wait. I swear.
What's interesting about this matchup is, I mean, you guys are both wrestlers. You guys are both pretty good wrestlers. We're good wrestlers. You know, what tricks up your sleeve or what tools of your trade do you think are going to neutralize his wrestling ability and make you the better man that night?
Everything that I do. Everything that I do, man. But I am no wrestler. I'm no wrestler. I'm no striker. I'm not a grappler. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not a Muay Thai fighter. I am a mixed martial artist. That's what I am. I am totally, fully, and truly an artist. And I'm just going to see things as they are in there. I'm going to minimize the things that I do wrong, capitalize on every single opportunity when he exposes himself. And that's it, man. I don't expect anything. I'm just gonna keep my eyes open, stay alert, stay calm, and see how things play out.
You know, this sport has evolved so much. The money in it has evolved so much over the years. And I think one of the main reasons is, you know, maybe Conor McGregor had a big part in this, but personality has come out so much. I mean, you see guys now even like putting on a facade and pretending to be like a character just to help them. But, you know, what you just said, there's very few guys, fighters in the UFC or any promotion, who will say, I am a true mixed martial artist. That is a concept that is very few guys refer to themselves as the mixed martial artists. For you, how important is it to recognize that?
I think it's essential. It's absolutely essential, because if you don't think of yourself like that, let's say I think of myself as a striker, a Muay Thai guy. subconsciously you're putting that back there. Now you're going to focus more on your striking. Now you're going to adopt the personality of someone that stays on the feet. Man, I don't care about that stuff. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. And if some people were to hear this and they say, okay, no, that's just the style. That's just what I'm good at. Man, forget that. Forget that. Like, you can literally change who you are just by the words that you speak. Let's say someone says, okay, well, I'm a fighter and I'm just really, really gritty. I go in there and I fight the fight. I use my cardio and conditioning and I just go at it. Then they start to adopt that, man. And then you're neglecting all the other tools that you possibly could have. But I'm an artist, man. And I'm a fighter. I'm 110% a fighter. But a grandmother could be a fighter. She could be a fighter walking on the side of the street just by the way that she takes on things within her life. But I'm an artist, man. I'm an artist and I love every single bit of this. So it'd be disrespectful to the sport, disrespectful to all the champions that have been at this before me to neglect the things that this sport embodies, which is all art. So I'm always trying to learn. I do have an interest for certain martial arts, but man, I love everything and I will use everything to the best of my ability.
You know, when you go in this contest, the scenery is going to be a little different. You know, you're fighting in an Apex environment. There are going to be no fans, no big crowds. Does that excite you? Does the Apex appeal to you? Do you think that's going to change anything? Do you think you benefit a little more from it?
No, no, it doesn't change anything, man. There's 3 people inside that cage. The crowd is the crowd. How many people are going to be there? Who knows? But there's 3 people in there, 2 men fighting. And that is what it is. I love the lights, though. I love the lights and I love the scenery and I love everything about it. But nothing changes for me. Absolutely nothing changes. And if anything, it just makes me a little bit more excited because I know that a few more eyes are going to be watching. I love that stuff. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it, man. It just builds me more and more and more and gives me this energy that I can just use when I speak without words.
You've trained at some of the best gyms in the world, you know, MMA Masters. Now you're over at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas with a bunch of UFC killers. A lot of people saying the best gym in the world right now. You know, Eric Nissick and the rest of the coaching staff do an absolute wonderful job there, just putting out dominating performance after dominating performance. What is it like being around those guys? You know, the Sean Stricklands of the world, the Dan Iges, you know, all the other top regional guys, UFC guys. What is it like to learn from them?
And it's a beautiful experience, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. Grateful for Eric Nixon. Grateful for all the guys that I trained, Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis. Man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because if you really take advantage of the opportunity that you have when all these people are around, even the guys that are lower weights, Dan Ige, who just had an absolutely amazing fight, man, take everything from these guys because they've experienced it all. They've been there. Not only have they been there, but they are there. They are there. They're where other fighters envision themselves to be and want themselves to be. And I'm here, man. I'm right here. I'm in the heat of it. So I'm always asking questions. I'm always looking to adopt new strategies and new mindsets and mentalities, but also the skill level. The skill level is so high, and you can only benefit from a place like this. You can only benefit from a place like this, and you can only benefit from a person, not only a coach, but a person like Eric Nixon. That is the man. That is the man. I still don't know how he does it, but he gives each and every single individual person that he trains with such a specific relationship. He puts an emphasis on who that person is, helps develop their style, and he's a brother, man. That's not only a coach, that's a friend, that's a brother, that's family.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, Dan Ige, we talked about him a little bit just now. He was in a crazy situation. All of a sudden, fight day's coming. He's making weight. He's fighting. Were you around the gym at all on that day? Do you have any stories about that? Were you near it at all?
No, I wasn't near, but I definitely heard the stories. But once again, man, that's just a testament to taking opportunities as they show up. Capitalize on every single thing that you see. Be ready, be prepared, be in shape, and then get blessed with that opportunity, man, and take advantage of it. So that was an example. That was a pure example of that. And that was amazing for him, man. That was amazing for him. I'm happy for him.
Mansur, what's the ultimate goal for you, man? What are you looking to accomplish with this MMA career?
Two-weight world champion. two-weight world champion. That's what I want to do. I want to get those both belts, and I want to give back to my family in the best ways that I possibly can, and then bounce and disappear, leave the game for some other kids to come up and take. I'm in this for a good time, and I'm just gonna take advantage of it, man. I'm gonna take advantage of it. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, and I'm so grateful to be able to do this. And I have this vision in my mind of having two belts in two weight classes, get all the money that I possibly can, and then disappear, and not be one of those people that just stay around and they just want to be in it, but they're not really in it. Right now, I'm in it. I'm fully, totally, and truly in it, inside the trenches, man. But I know there's gonna be a day where this isn't for me anymore. But right now, it is for me, and it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful, and I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
You know, you mentioned a little earlier that you only have a short period to fight, and I think a lot of the casual fans don't realize that like fighting really is a short window. You can't do this forever. This isn't like WWE. This isn't like some other sports where you should go in your 40s. I mean, obviously, you see guys who are later in their ages and that they have great performances. They're doing great things, but you also see the legends, the fan favorites who just can't stop. I mean, you see these guys going from you know great ranked dudes to where it's like, oh, please don't fight anymore. Like you're hurting yourself. This is bad for your health. This isn't good. Do you recognize that this is a short window? Is that something you're telling yourself? Do you know that?
Man, not only do I know it, but I've been telling myself this since I was a little kid. You only get a certain amount of time with this if you're lucky. There's so many undisclosed injuries and so many undisclosed things going on in people's lives and fighters' lives that they never speak about. And then when they go out there and have maybe like a bad performance, no one will ever know. No one will ever know. But then also, this thing is addictive. This is addictive. Fighting in front of people inside of a cage because it's so pure. There's nothing else like it. There's nothing more honest than going to battle with another man, testing your skills, and seeing if you can really defend yourself. Because if there wasn't a referee, who knows how a situation or a fight would have played out. So it's a very addictive thing, man. It's a very, very addictive thing. And I feel like a lot of people can't let go of that. And my heart goes out to that people because I felt like that. I felt like that, and I understand it totally, truly, and fully. But you need to be able to disconnect. It's as simple as that. You need to be able to disconnect. You need to be able to know yourself. You need to be able to understand and realize that this is life, man. This is life. This is a career. It's a job. It's a job for some people. Not for me. This is just my life. But it's a job for some people. And so at some point it ends. Maybe sometimes people can stay within it and take on a different role. Maybe not necessarily as a fighter. But those are some rare cases, man. So you gotta love it while you can. Love it while you can. Take advantage it. Take advantage of it while you can, and just continue to just try and be the best that you possibly can be, and leave nothing on the table. And literally use everything. You need to have nothing left within inside yourself by the time this is finished. And if you do that, if you use everything, if you give it your absolute best, things are going to work out well for you. 110%.
When I look at you fighting, I see some examples. I see some similarities for some other guys who've went on and done great things in the UFC. The Daniel Cormiers in the world pop in my head. Michael Chandler, Tyron Woodley, some Colby Covington action pops in my head. Who are some guys that maybe not you try to embody your style from, but you look up to and maybe help influence you in the fighting game?
Every single one. All those guys and more that you just named. When you love it as much as I love it, you can't help but to think about what someone else does might apply to you and your specific skill set and how you think and how you express yourself. Every single person, man. And I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off, especially because I'm a fan of this sport as well. All those guys that you just talked about, I love seeing them fight. I love seeing them fight, and I know every single fight that they've competed in. I just love it. I love it so much, and I'm always picking like little bits and pieces, little things that might apply to me. I think there's a quote from Bruce Lee that goes, use what's necessary and discard what isn't. I look at all these things and I look at these fighters and their lives and the fights they actually compete in, how they train, how they speak, what philosophies they embody. And I see what could be applied to me as a fighter, as a person, as a man. and I just use what's useful, and I discard what isn't. And then, in addition to all that, I just let my truest self flourish. I just put it out there as well, and I see what I come up with individually, independently. I see what comes out of me. I use what's useful. I just throw away what isn't.
All right, Mansur, last question for you. In a perfect world, what goes down when you take on Wes Schultz August 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, the Dana White Contender Series?
Crazy thing is that it is a perfect world, and I will win. God willing, it's going to go out there. I'm going to go out there, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm going to see things. I'm going to be calm. I'm just going to have fun, man. It's recreation. I'm just going to move. I'm going to be free. I'm just going to love it, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I swear to God, every single night that I go to sleep, I have a smile on my face, man. I'm ready and prepared for this opportunity, and it will be beautiful.
Well, Mansur, thank you so much for your time, man. Sorry we went over 30 minutes here. This was so good. I could stop asking questions, but I wish you nothing but the best, man, and I'm really excited to see you fight at the Contender Series, dude.
Thank you so much, man. I love this.
Thank you for watching Carlo Prusa MMA. That's Mansur Abdul Malik. I'm Carlo Prusa. Stick around.